Morning, everyone. We are excited because we start a new book. So Jean-Philippe and I, we are here for the podcast Les Millionnaires des Diamants. So today we are going to talk about our new book, Supercommunicator. Supercommunicator. Okay, so it doesn't work. My song. No. Okay, so we are going to talk about the matching principle today. So Jean-Philippe is going to come and share with us studies, but just first of all, I'm going to address the table and I'm going to talk about that matching principle. So don't go too far, Jean-Philippe. We need you in a couple of minutes. All right. So let me ask you a question. How do you create a real connection with someone? How can we create a real connection with someone? It's not just a conversation, but a genuine connection. The kind that makes someone, trust you, open up, say yes, or decide to follow you. And this is so important in our business that we need to make connection because we always say we are a, a relationship business. Okay, this is what we are building. Okay, so we need trust, and people, when they trust you, they are going to say yes and they are going to follow you. And the truth is, it's not what you say that it's going to create that connection, it's what the other people feels. Okay, and today we're going to talk about a powerful concept, so the matching principle. So the science of connection, uh, what the book explained, it's fascinating. So when two people try to connect together, so their brain began to synchronize. Okay, and they did a study. So they study like the activity of the brain of musician. So when you have two musicians and let's say they play uh, um, separately, okay, so they are going to look at their um, brain and there's no connectivity. But when they bring the two musicians together and they start, let's say, jamming, okay, and they play along, sometimes the guitar play something, the other guitar are going to respond to that, so they are now synchronizing. Okay, so if you study the activity of their brain, so you're going to see that they align together, so they say they play the same rhythm, same pattern, and they become like one system. Okay, so this is something that we study, like when we are have two musicians, so they can synchronize together when they play together, but when they play separately, there's no connection between them. It doesn't stop there. Okay, when people, let's say, tell a story, so let's say we are going to a comedy show. Okay, so we become synchronized with other because we're gonna laugh at the same joke, we're gonna have so we all sing together. So that reminds me, when I was a teacher, I love the story time. And sometimes, let's say I was reading a book about the big wolves, and I don't know which story, but I took my time, pause, and I was seeing the kids, let's say, have a okay, so they express the joy, the stress, okay, together, humor when we were laughing together, so we sing together. Okay, so at the same time, so connection, it's synchronization, it's not just word, it's alignment together. So you remember yesterday we talked about um, the story of the agent of FBI. Okay, so Felix was an agent of FBI, and when he was having, let's say, something difficult, so they asked him to go on the field. So let's say you have to negotiate with someone to surrender. So they are going to send him, and when to when people wants to study what is the good communicator? So they ask the FBI, okay, who can we meet? And they say, okay, you're gonna meet Felix. And Felix was in the with the people, okay, so psychologists, sociologists, and they start the conversation, but Felix was asking question to them, okay, so he was asking, okay, and suddenly, instead of him being interviewed, he was interviewing them, and he was asking about the marriage of our daughter, and then the divorce, and okay, so so many subject. And when the people became, let's say, emotional, so he became emotional, and then he shared something emotional, so they synchronize together, they connect together, so he has that ability to align. So when it was emotion, he respond with emotion. So when someone open up, he open up. So this is what he matched the tone, he matched the pace, he matched the emotion, and that was what created trust. Have you ever met, let's say, someone, okay, you are, let's say, in a spa, okay, and you are super calm, okay, and it was a very beautiful day, okay, you have a massage, and you prefer talking, let's say, like this, and there's someone who's, let's say, you decide, okay, I'm going to I need to go to the grocery store after that, and then I'm gonna rest at home, and you go to the grocery store, and let's say that people, you are looking for something, and he's answering like that, and he, okay, is not matching your energy, okay, so you're not going to connect. And I made those kind of mistakes. So when I was doing tupper party at home, sometimes my energy was there, but their energy was here, okay, so I have to let's say, okay, come here, my energy, and by being here, I can live them here, so we can meet at some point, okay, so this is the matching principle. To connect with someone, you must watch the type of conversation, of course, we are having, because this is what we are going to explore in the next few podcasts. But let's say, if I am solving a problem, okay, I have a problem, let's say, and I'm calling my sister. Okay, I have a problem, and she wants to help me. So she's going to help me to solve the problem. But if I have, let's say, a problem, and I'm calling my sister, and let's say she is emotional, okay, and she start talking about something that she live, but me, I am I want to, let's say, solve my problem, okay, so I'm gonna tell her, let's say, babe, just do this, okay, I am in a solution mode, but she is not in solution mode. She wants to express something. She wants to share a feeling. So we are not connecting at that time. Okay. So we have to recognize what kind of conversation we're going to have. When it's practical, so it's and practical, so we're going to connect. Okay. When it's emotional and we respond with emotion, we're going to connect. And sometimes it's going to be social. We're going to talk about our identity, our belief, okay, about us. So we are going to connect that way, okay. So let's say, I say, my sister said, I had a rough day. Okay. And my response is, okay, what you should do is this, and you should do that. Okay. She is not there. She just want to talk about her bad journey. Okay. So I am practical. So instead of that, I would say, okay, what happens? Okay. And I'm going to listen to her, and I'm going to give feedback of her emotion. So that way we are going to connect. So this is the way that we can match people. So when I read that, I say, oh my God, okay, that brings me so much memories. So let's say when we were doing home party, okay? So when we were doing home party, we learn that sometimes we connect with people, okay, and it's become very easy. So that way I knew that when I have time, let's say before the party, to ask them what they are doing in life. Okay, do you have kids? And let's say you have kids, so you're gonna say, oh, let's say she said, I have three kids. Oh, I have two daughters. Oh, okay. So now you find a common ground. Okay. So that way you're going to start connecting. Okay. And then she said, I am a teacher. Oh my God, I'm a teacher too. Okay. So we're going to connect on that way. She have cats. I have cats. Okay. She have dogs. I have animal. I have a hamster. So we can, let's say, connect on that way. So when we have time to connect with people and ask question, so that way when we start the tupper party, okay, we are more in sync. Okay, and that is easy to, let's say, I'm going to give her a recommendation. So because we have a connection, she is more likely to listen and maybe to buy that product. And when we have a very good connection, I knew that I'm going to date her. She's going to invite me, even if she just know me since, let's say, 1 hour, 2 hours. So she is going to open the door and invite me in her home, and we are going to do our tupper party with her friends and family. So can you imagine? This could happen only if we establish the connection with the people. If she trusts me enough to open the door to a stranger and invite and present me all her friends to help me to make money and spoil her. So this is what our business is so great about that. Um, it's the same. So now at the store, that I helped me reflect to say, okay, we have a problem to recruit people. Okay. And I say, you know what? It's because we don't connect with them. So when we arrive at the store, let's say, and they want to buy the stack cooker, and if I say, okay, I can offer you the membership, it's $20, blah, 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 she's not going to say yes because she doesn't trust you. Okay. There's no connection. Okay. So we need something to establish that, okay, we take our time. So last week I had a recruit. Why? It's because I had time to connect with her. So we start talking, and I present her the fridge mart container, and she was with a friend, and the friend say, oh my God, yes, I have fridge mart at home, I know him since a long time. So she helped me to connect with that lady. Okay. And she's open up, we connect so on many different ways, and that way she said, okay, yes, I want to have my membership. Okay. It's always a connection. In When I had recruit at the store, it's because I had time to talk with them. I'm not going to have one. It's difficult on a Saturday, let's say, okay, because there are more people. But let's say during the week, we have time to talk with them and to establish something, and they feel understood, and they say, okay, yes, I want to, let's say, take my membership. Okay. So this is so important to understand. So connection is everything. Okay. So when we want to establish and to make business, okay, let's say you are a real estate agent, you are working with salesmen, okay, like a car, you sell car. Okay, we always have to establish that connection, otherwise I'm going to be méfiant, I don't know, I'm going to be suspicious. Okay, and I don't want to do business with you. But when we have a good connection, I can trust you, and we can sell to the people. Okay, so first of all, important, so make sure that you are matching with the people. So Jean-Philippe is going to give one other example, and is going to explain one principle, one study that explained that principle.
Yes, thank you, Sylvain. So you can sometimes like discover very fast if you have a connection with somebody. Obviously you can work on that connection, and it happened to me. It was a learning process that I had when I hire some assistant. I did remember like the first assistant that I had, still like we were still like, let's say, in the COVID era. So it was somebody that worked with my partner, and actually she was like, we share the same brain, like, so we easily connected easily. It was easy like to share information, and most of the times we were like in the same type of conversation, always about like practical. It was about like very technical things. And then when she wasn't able like to work for me anymore, I hired somebody else that was in the same situation, like could not work like because of COVID at the moment. But like that one was actually also like very synchronized with me. Like we share the same thing. And when we were talking together, I got interested in her. So it worked very well. At some point, she started a new business. So I had to hire like somebody new. And unfortunately, that person was so hard for me to connect with. Okay. Because like we didn't share the same, let's say, interests and philosophy of life, and we were very different in a way of seeing like our life and taking also responsibility for what was happening. Like that person was smoking, I did not smoke at all. Like she got into my home, I could smell that. Okay, she was like making the packages and all of those things. So for me, because I was really oriented for the task, and in her life it was really hard, like it was so strong, like so many things had happened, she was sick, and like still have like some effect of it. So it was so hard for me like to connect. Okay, because I didn't want to go there, because that was not the type of person that I'm attracted to. So at some point I needed like to fire that person, and now the new assistant that I have like is as my two first ones. So sometimes you will feel it very fast, okay, if you have a connection with somebody. And sometimes maybe it was my error, I didn't want to connect on that conversation of the emotion. But like I learned so much, and now doing that book, I can see, okay, my process and what I can improve, and how I can be sure like to, in the future, working with people that are not necessarily on the same conversation as you, how can I adapt? So to help us understand how our brains is working, I want to share with you an experiment, okay, that was made and that was explained throughout the book, because it explained what happened inside our head when we talk. So the experiment was in three phases. Phase one, it was the isolation. So the researchers show volunteers a series of strange movie clips. Okay, some with no audios, okay, and no subtitle at all. Okay, so it was part of movie taking like just a bit out of context. So each volunteer watched the movie alone. So the result, they were looking at their brain. So they did a scan brain, okay? And it was all over the place. Everyone interpret the silent scene differently. The phase two, it was the discussion. They put the people in small groups. So they had a lot of them to talk about what they see. And finally, the phase three that they call the synchronization, they show them the clip again, the exact same clip without a word or subtitle, and they look at what happened into their brain. What they discover is some of their brain were actually identical. So the wave inside of it, the synchronization happened. And for some other people, nothing happened. Okay. So what they discover is that during the phase two, they call the neural entrainment. So they show that communication isn't just about exchanging word, but it's literally about synchronizing our brain. It helps us click not only with the brain, but with our body, with our pupil, with like our pulse, and it starts like mirroring each other. But what happened in different type of group? They discovered that they had two clash of styles. Okay, the fake leader and the true connector. So in some of the group, okay, some of the participants were identified as dominant leader. Okay, it is the all-know person. Okay, so they walk into a room and they immediately take charge of it. Okay, so in those group, okay, where they had those type of leader, the leader assigned role, gave order, and keep everyone on the task. Okay, saying this is what happened in that scene, this is what it means, this is what, like, how we should interpret that scene. Okay, so we sometimes think that those are the best leader, but what happened is that when they show us, like when they show them back the movie, okay, they were the people with the lowest amount of neural synchrony. Okay, so when people are too directive, okay, they create what they call an invisible barrier. Okay, it forces people to get into an execution mode or sometimes to be in a protection mode, which means that sometimes they say, oh, this is what he says, so it's not this true. But some other people say, I don't care what he say, I don't want to listen to that person. So synchronization dies where domination begins. Okay, so think of an orchestra. If everybody think that they were alone playing the loudest instead of following the conductor and play as harmony. Then in other type of group, they discovered that they had a high centrality participant that they identify as super communicator. Those weren't the loudest person in the room, and in fact, they were often very quieter. So they discovered that they had a secret weapon that they call strategic humility. Okay, so those people in those group, they weren't afraid to look less smart. Okay, like they weren't afraid to say, I don't know what unrequited means, but yeah, it must be sure. So they use what they call the mirror effect. By admitting confusion or vulnerability, they give everyone else social permission to do the same. Okay, and when they lower their guards, the brain open to synchronize, and they discover that those type of people, the high centrality participant, they ask 10 to 20 times more question than anybody else. So they use question as invitation to build bridge toward each other. So what are the final, let's say, like pillar following that study? Okay, so they discover two important principles. The number one is the matching principle or the chameleon rule. Super communicator are like chameleon. They don't just repeat word, they match energy. Okay, so what happened in some of the group is when a participant gets serious about a heavy topic like abandonment, the super communicator don't try to crack a joke to lighten the mood. They match the gravity, they lower their voice, and they validate the emotion. So if, like, let's say your partner come at home tonight and is excited, be excited with him. If he comes and he share with you a problem and try to find solution, match that energy. Be in that same mood. Okay. So what will happen is that you will create connection and you will vibrate at the same pace. And the second pillar, the second principle that they discover is the invisible influence. Okay, so they found that the group opinion always aligned with the super communicator, but they didn't realize it. And the reason why is because not that they were told to, that they were supposed to think this way, but because they feel that they had the opportunity to express themselves, and even if it was not their thought at first, they accept it because it was not imposed to them. They could be listened. So the power in a team is not the leader that is the loudest, but it's the person that creates space for everyone to align. This is what we call facilitation and not direction. So, in conclusion, okay, what this study tells us is that to be a leader or a great communicator is not to be the smartest or the most authoritarian person in the room. You just need to help others fall in line. Ask more questions, laugh at your own mistake, and adjust your frequency to what is that energy mood that the person is like in front of you. So to close our podcast today, I have a challenge like yesterday. Okay, yesterday I've asked you like to listen to conversation and try to find in which mode, in which three type of conversation people are in. But today, okay, here is your challenge. In your next meeting, family dinner, okay, or meeting with a group of friends, okay, try to be the high centrality participant. Don't worry about having the best idea. Try to ask 5 more questions that you usually do. Okay? Admit what you're wrong and try to match the energy of the person across you. So ask more questions. Okay? Admit what you're wrong and match the energy and see what is the difference and how you feel in it. So thank you so much, Guy, for being with us for that podcast. Next week, we are continuing into the matching principle segment. So thank you so much, and we're seeing you tomorrow with Maria and Marie-Pierre.